Perfect. The purpose for the recording is just to test something out for myself using this system, and now I will share with you the screen. So hopefully now you can see my my web browser screen with Smartaudit.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Perfect. So what I'll do for the next, I don't know, 30 to 60 minutes is to demonstrate the Smartaudit system to you. As you can see, Smartaudit has a number of licensed audit programs. It uses our PCP and also
I could hardly just give me a second.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that better, Finetta?
Yeah, let me see if it's on my lap because of my just now. Okay, no problem. You could go ahead.
Okay, brilliant. So we've been working with Smartaudit for the last 2 or 3 years with a view to producing a cloud-based version of our audit program for a number of reasons. One, to improve the audit program, to improve the efficiency, but also to enable us to conduct reviews on a more remote basis as well. But in particular, we hope that it'll make the audit process more efficient for firms as well. And I'll talk through some of the ways in which that can be achieved in a moment or two. Let me log in first of all to my account.
Yeah.
And then I'll show you some of the aspects of the system, how to set up a client, etc. So this is the first screen which you see when you log into Smartaudit. So here we have the dashboard where we layered how many new clients we've set up on the system this month, how many new files, how many files are in progress, etc. And you can also see the recent activity across the firm.
Okay. Okay, Kevin is right here.
Okay. Hello, Kevin.
Yeah, so he's going to
okay.
log in just now.
Okay. So you can see the recent activity here. So this gives you an idea as to what other people, staff have been doing in the practice. So when you log on as a director, you can see what everyone has been doing within the firm. So it's actually quite a powerful management tool as well as paperless audit system. Along the top here is when you do things such as manage the staff. So insert all the staff details. And under library, you have a number of letter templates, such as letters of representation, minutes of meetings, engagement letter, etc. And that's something that we'll be improving on over the course of the next few months, adding things on such as debtor circularization letters, etc.
Okay.
So let's create a new client first of all. And I think that create a new client was blocked by us. So let's say if we use the Eastlands example, Eastlands Trinidad and Tobago Limited, client person, Vince at eastlands.com. Let's put a generic phone number in, country, Trinidad and Tobago. Let's just say it's going to be an audit service and submit that, and that sets up the client. To set up what we can also do within the client is also then to add in some of the know your client screenings for anti-money laundering purposes. But what I'll show you first of all is just how to set up a new work file for this particular client. So we get all the clients that that the practice has. So we choose Eastlands T&T Limited, template, international external audit template, functional currency, and hopefully in there will be Trinidad and Tobago dollars.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
There we go, T&T.
Okay, great.
It's there. We say the beginning of the period, let's say 1st of January 2018, and we'll say the end of the period is the end of December 2018. Estimated fees we just put in as a rough figure for now. We say target completion date might be end of the month. Put myself in as the engagement partner. The rest of them aren't necessary, but we'll say for the sake of argument here, this is the first year of incorporation.
Yeah.
So we submit all that in to set up a work file for December 2018. And obviously it's as quick as your internet connection. The next stage that it asks us to do is to select the audit program. So this is our opportunity to take out bits of the audit program that we don't see as being necessary for this client.
Yeah.
So if, for example, Eastlands T&T Limited, hotel, restaurant, it doesn't have any intangible assets, we can take out intangible assets altogether. If it doesn't have any investments in group and associated other undertakings, we can take that out. And if, for example, the level of financial assets and other investments is relatively small, we can go into more detail and perhaps only cover the approach summary and the lead schedule and not worry about some of the detailed audit steps that are contained within the PCP program at the moment. We can take those out.
So is this basically the PCP program, but a cloud version of it?
Correct, correct. Cloud
Okay.
and electronic. There are some small differences which I will go through later.
Okay.
But they are very minor. But what this does is it allows you to easily tailor, take out the pages, and then of course it remembers that then for future audits as well.
Okay.
And I'll talk more about that roll forward feature later on.
Okay.
So it's now setting up the file. Now it knows what programs to use. And now it's reminded us that we need to upload the trial balance to get started. So the way that it does that, so we click on financials and trial balance. And the way that it does that is via Excel spreadsheets.
Okay. Great.
So it has its own trial balance template to download. And we say that we want to open it. And then what we also need to do is once that's downloaded and opened. So here is the Smartaudit template. What we would then do is export the client's accounting data out to Microsoft Excel, so we can copy into this particular format. So I've got one I prepared earlier with nominal ledger codes from SAP, whatever you have on there, and we'll copy that across into the Smartaudit format, and then we simply save as into a particular directory. Move a minute.
I'm not seeing the Excel template,
sorry.
but
Really sorry. Of course, I need to share that screen with you. Apologies.
okay. Okay.
New share. Right. Hopefully you can see it now.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what I've done is I've copied and pasted from an existing trial balance into here, and then saved it onto my hard drive. So I can close this down now, and then I'll reshare the screen with you, the Smart Audit screen. So we downloaded the trial balance template. We did this step, copy the trial balance into the downloaded template and save it onto your computer. And next we need to find the trial balance in on my hard drive. There it is. So we open that out. And now what we'll see in a few moments' time is the client's trial balance put into Smart Audit, which means that we have all the lead schedules and one or two other things as well. We then have to save this information.
So these are codes, right? Those codes always stay the same.
They stay this, and they come from the client in this particular instance.
Okay.
So they were codes. This is an old PCP trial balance. I'll let you know, Vanetta. So so it's the codes from our Sage system.
Okay.
What we then need to do is to check that the Smart Audit system. So what it does is that it detects from the words in the Excel spreadsheet where to put in its system. You understand what I'm saying? So office equipment appears to have gone correctly to property, plant and equipment. Office equipment accumulated depreciation, which is the name from the client, has Smart Audit. The classification is the Smart. So that's the client's name, or your name. This is the Smart Audit name. Has this gone to the right place? It just simply says depreciation. Let's check. No, it's gone to expenses depreciation. So what we need to do is to reassign it to non-current assets and accumulated depreciation, fixtures and furniture, fixtures and fittings.
I understand. So the code and the name depends on the client, but the classification is the Smart Audit classification. Correct. And we just have to make sure it's correct.
Correct. And once it's done once for that client, it will remember it for future years.
Okay.
Obviously, a new nominal ledger account's put in, then you will need to make sure that that's mapped properly. Okay. So let's save that adjustment. The trial balance workings tend to be the ones that take the longest time. Then we go in and start looking at the permanent file. So here you'll recognize the background to the client is very similar to what you have at the moment with the PCP system, company name, etc. But what you also have is the facility to attach files. So let's say, for example, you already have everything here in a Word document, maybe the old PCP permanent file, and rather than copy and pasting into the relevant boxes, you may choose just to attach the relevant file. So you click on attach file, you browse your hard drive. So if we go into PCP, I know where it is on here, Smart Audit file, and in here we have the nature of the business form, details, for this particular client. You open it up and it uploads the file. Onto the Smart Audit system, so that when then you come to review the file, you can see the company name isn't there, but you can see it's an attached file for you to look at.
Okay.
So the idea is then that the reviewer would look at the attached file. If the reviewer is then not happy with something or wants to make a point, rather than having a separate schedule on review points, you can just click on review points and add in a new review point. So it'll say, not enough information.
I'm not sure then.
Assigned to, and that way you can tell which particular member of staff, once you have a number of members of staff set up, which member of staff that review point is assigned to. Save it, and that review note is there. There is also the facility to look at all the review notes elsewhere through here. But also then when the member of staff you've assigned the review note to logs on next, they will see a list of review notes that they have to clear. Okay.
Okay.
So again, very similar to the PCP program. When it comes to some of the boxes, you can type in the notes. And what you'll see is the box expands as the level of notes you insert goes up. And then eventually it turns into a scroll box. So the box has a maximum size, but the amount of information you can insert into these boxes is unlimited.
Okay.
A lot of the other forms are then broadly similar to the PCP forms. So laws and regulations you recognize, and then if you have more than 4 key laws and regulations, you have the facility to add rows in there. Once you've updated the permanent file, this member of staff has updated it, click on update. And then you'll be able to tell here that how many forms have been done in under the heading of business details.
Also, the Smartaudit program will let you know which forms were updated.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
But you can also edit the date, which I shouldn't say. A lot of the other forms, again, are very similar to what you'll be used to in the PCP system. So the accounting systems notes, again, are quite similar. But again, you can use the attached files if you have separate notes. One form I do want to complete just very quickly is the financial statement level risk assessment form, which we have. There's a reason particularly why I want to complete this form. So we go through as the Word document has at the moment. Say low risk because it's directors own the shares, third party users no, potential sale of business no. And then the facility for you to say if it's a significant risk. But I just want to assess, it doesn't come to an overall financial statement level risk itself. It doesn't compute it by average, it's down to judgment. So I'll say that that's low. The fraud and error risk assessment is similar to the PCP one. The one that looks different is the schedule of significant risks.
Okay.
So here we have to add in a row where there are any significant risks. Say where the risks are from. Is it a business risk, related party risk, say assertion level risk, income, subject, the fraud perhaps, substantive tests would be detailed, till roll tests maybe. Are substantive tests enough? Yes. Are we going to do tests of operational effectiveness of controls? No. And add in. So that gives us our schedule of significant risks.
Okay.
So I've covered the permanent file, the review function, and the attachments. Do you have any other questions so far, Vanetta?
No, not
Okay.
yet.
So if we go into the audit program, again, the majority of the forms are very similar to the PCP forms, so the checklists are the same. You will see here that the audit tests, the audit sections that we've on intangible assets and investments in groups that we decided that we didn't need have been shaded out. If we want to change that, if we suddenly decide, well, they do have intangible assets 1 year, we go into admin and amend through select audit program here, so we can add them in later on if necessary.
Okay.
If we go into audit planning, so the audit planning control checklist, we can again, similar to the PCP program. Once it's prepared, we click on prepared, and much like the permanent file, then
okay,
we then go through the review and sign off functions. If a particular form we don't believe is necessary, then we can just tick not applicable, and it takes out the form altogether. It doesn't need to be completed.
Okay.
The independence questionnaire is the same. Obviously, the planning analytical review, the preliminary analytical review, all the ratios are calculated already for you from the trial balance. So that's some minor saving there.
Okay, great.
When it comes to the assessment of risk on the B5 schedule, here we have, let's say, property, plant, and equipment. We go inherent risk, where we say, well, because it's a restaurant with lots of plant, significant property, we might say it's a medium risk area. Low control risk. Nothing jumps out at us because the controls are okay, in theory. The analytical review risk is low. So overall, we probably go for the highest of these three parameters. I'd say it's medium risk. We might explain why. It's medium risk in this instance, and then we'll say, is it a significant risk? Yes, and we would also put it onto the path, as a significant risk as well. But unlike the current PCP system, where you have to then go in and reinsert the overall risk onto the audit strategy memorandum, you'll see it in a moment. It carries it forward automatically. So it's got risk per P5 medium. Okay.
Okay.
Then when it comes to materiality, again, materiality will be calculated for us once, or it will be suggested to us once we've said which of the three parameters we're going to choose for materiality. Is it gross assets, revenue, or profit? Let's click on revenue, and then it'll come up with some suggested initial overall materiality. So for revenue, it says materiality should be about $5,000. So we might set materiality at $5,200, let's say. And then it asks us to come up with then final materiality and determining the clearly trivial threshold, which we might put as $50. So we've assessed materiality at 5,200. Now, what you will see in this instance is that performance materiality isn't there. And this is probably the biggest area of difference between this and the PCP system. So what you'll see is performance materiality is actually on individual sections.
Oh, okay.
So if we go to the property, plant, and equipment section, and in here, it's actually it comes up with the performance materiality level for us.
So the Smart Audit program calculates the performance materiality.
Correct.
Based on, okay.
Yeah, it does. It does. It also suggests sample size as well. So in the audit planning, you'll see once we do all the risk assessment, it's come up with a sample size of 12 on property, plant, and equipment. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. The rest of the system is very similar to the PCP system. So if we look at property, plant, and equipment, so if we look at the existence test, so the existence test on the PCP system, you will know carry out physical inspection of assets. So we say, yes, we're going to do that. Now, in some of these tests, it may well be sufficient to put in comments. So review the board minutes and cash book for evidence of significant disposals to property, plant, and equipment and agree such disposals. So we might say, yes, that test is needed. And say, looked at cash book and minutes, no evidence seen. And for that test, that's likely to be enough detail. But where we're doing physical existence testing, we probably need to have a separate working paper.
Yes.
And that's where the attachment to the files comes in useful.
Okay.
So you click on attach files and then browse and upload. And earlier I prepared a results of work on existence of property, plant, on equipment schedule. And then that uploads the file. And then if you want to look at the file, you just click on it. And if you have a Microsoft Office 365 subscription, you can look at it on the web. Otherwise, you just click open. And I know you can't see this, so let's quickly switch screens. New share, and you should now see the results of the work on existence of property, plant, and equipment. Okay, I will change the share back to Smartaudit. Where are we? Here. So close that window down, and you will see that it's highlights there that there's one attachment there to look at. And you just insert the risk and sample sizes we need to put in automatically. Summary of results and conclusions you would do as you would do at the moment, typed in. I said as well that there was a neat little trick. So let's say that you finished this year's audit of Eastlands TNT Limited, and you're coming to do the 2019 audit. So if we go into work files, and let's say for the sake of argument that that this new client, whose name there appears to be missing for some reason, so Eastlands TNT Limited, 31st of December 2018. If we want to roll that forward to future years, we use this function here called clone. So for roll forwards, here, clone file, where my cursor is.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah. So you click on that. And it says to clone from Eastlands TNT 18 file client. You're cloning it to the same client. You could, of course, clone, if you've got two clients in the same, almost identical industries, you can clone to another client potentially as well. Currency, Trinidad dollars. Accounting period, beginning 1st of January 2019, end 31st of December 2019. Estimated fees, let's say again, 50,000. Target completion date might be 29th of February. Same as before. Now, so you insert your staff, and then you get to choose then which items you want to clone forward.
Okay.
So you can clone forward the permanent file attachments, the current audit file, including the planning, the trial balance, which means that the current year totals will roll forward into the prior year total. So you've only got to bring in the current year through the system that we looked at earlier on. Reports, notes to the accounts. So if you're preparing the accounts, and most of your accounts at the moment are prepared under IFRS for SMEs, is that right?
Yes, most of them.
Yeah. So at the moment, Smartaudit can produce financial statements, but only under IFRS.
Full IFRS.
Full IFRS, not IFRS for SMEs. Now, do you use Word at the moment or some sort of software to produce the financial statements?
Use Word.
Okay. So perhaps if we speak to Piers nicely, the software developer, he may well be able to bring in IFRS for SMEs. And I think one of the things we're looking at doing is showing this at the ICAC conference in Miami next year. So of course, IFRS for SMEs will be very important at that point. So I think that's something that we would look to do as well, is to produce the accounts through this system as well as just the audit file.
Okay.
Okay. So at that point, you would need to tick the reports and notes to the accounts. That's why I was saying that. So if you clone the audit file, audit file is successfully cloned. And if we look at the work files now, we'll see Eastlands T&T for December 19. So if we click on that, we will see that, for example, in the audit planning, the assessment of risk, it's successfully copied across the risk assessment we did on property, plant and equipment. Yeah. So you don't have to go, once that risk assessment is done once now on planning, it'll just carry forward. The planning analytical review. It's calculated the previous years. So it's moved the ratios across from current year to previous years. So it's moved everything across successfully, is the point I'm trying to make.
Okay.
Okay. If you ever get stuck on anything with Smartaudit or have any suggestions, then you can click on a chat facility here and start up a new conversation with the developers.
They're on almost 24/7 or?
No, they work on, I think most of the team are based in India. Piers himself is based in Singapore.
Okay.
So they would probably be quite difficult to talk with someone in the Caribbean, but they're actually quite good at getting back to you. They can get back to you at different times. So.
Okay.
What I would suggest, obviously I'll deal with any questions in a moment, Vanessa, but you can actually sign up very easily yourselves to Smartaudit. I will warn Piers by email that you are looking to, that you will sign up, and then he will know that he needs to assign you the QDOS template just to any of the other audit templates that he has. It's a 30-day trial period initially. If I go into Smartaudit, first of all. So signing up is quite easy. It's a 30-day free trial, but he will know you're a Kudos member and he doesn't turn people off unless they've not touched it for a long time. So, for example, if you're coming up, if you want to have a go at trying out for one audit, you feel free to do so.
So what is the fee per client? How do you all charge? What's the cost?
It's charged on a step basis, depending upon the number of users that you have.
Also, it depends on the number of users, not the number of kids.
Correct. So there's one fee for 1 to 3 users, another 3 to 10 users, 10 to 20 users, and then 20 users plus is negotiable.
Do you have the fee structure?
Yes, I do.
Would you be able to give it to me?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Let me just double check it for one moment. Okay, so as Kudos members, you get a 30% discount. So the full price, and these prices are in US dollars. So for 3 users, the price is $1,200 a year. For 3 to 10 users, is $2,400 a year, and for 10 to 20 users, is $3,600 a year. And then that is discounted by 30% as Kudos members. So roughly about $850 up to $1,700, and then $2,550. I'll send through full prices later on, Vanetta.
Okay. And you said in terms of reviewing, when I review a file, right, they would not be able to go and change it unless I give them access to change it, because Ms. Leroy was also concerned about her signing off on things and not having people go and change what she approved.
That's a very good question, Vanetta. I'm afraid I think that's right, but let me double check on that.
Okay.
I think what you can do once the file is signed off, you can lock it down and prevent staff from accessing it.
No, okay, we want them to access it, probably view access, but not to change things. Would they be able to do that, like access it, but just to view and not to, to read only? Because that was one of the main concerns.
Understood. Understood. So let me I'm not sure I'm going to be able to test this properly here because I'm a reviewer, so I can go in and change it. What I'll do, Vanetta, I will double check on that.
Okay.
And I will get back to you.
Okay. And another thing, in terms of the financials, right? I know you said that how the software could prepare financials just under full IFRS in terms of the accounting framework. But does it prepare financials in Word?
Yes, I suppose it does. Yes. I mean, you would need, not in IFRS for SMEs format strictly, but I guess you could do some of that yourselves. So if we go into drafting, go to compilations, you can export it out to Word, yes.
Okay,
and then make changes.
Okay,
so click on new report. We might say IFRS financial statements, start drafting. And you will see now the statement of the profit and loss account. Obviously, this is the comparatives only because we're in the 2019 file. And yes, you can then export out to Word here.
Okay. Because we should be able to export out to Word, make our changes, and then we could make our changes for IFRS for SMEs and then upload it again into the software.
Yeah, I don't think uploading it again into the software will work.
Okay, it can't.
No, but I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, because then once the template is there, it should be there for a period of time. I understand. I understand the point. Yeah, let me again, I'll take that on board, and I will if you give me until early next week, and I'll discuss that with the developer.
Okay, no problem.
Or it doesn't seem to have enjoyed that very much. Okay. Let me get back to you on that, Vanetta, if that's okay.
So it's just those two things, right? For review and sign off, and for the financials. Great. Okay, that's it.
Okay, excellent.
Thanks so much.
If you go to smartaudit.co and sign up for the 30-day free trial, and then you can play with it yourselves then. And I will warn you have unlimited users in that time, so I will warn Piyush that that's going to be the case.
Okay, thanks.
I have one question.
Of course, Kevin. Yeah.
In terms of the security, because I know it's a web-based application. Would you be able to, in terms of the security of the application,
okay.
Based?
Yeah. So the information is stored on Amazon Web Servers. So it's as far as we're concerned, it's perfectly safe. Obviously, I can't make 100% guarantee, but it's going to be as safe as the information that you keep on your own servers there.
Okay. Would you be able to give me like an outline in terms of the security measures that you all have put in place?
I can't. But what I will do is I will ask the developer to appraise you of that.
Appreciate it. That'll be nice.
No problem.
Right.
It's a good question, Kevin. It's not something I'm an expert in. Is cybersecurity? So I will pass that question on to him.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, brilliant.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you, Vanetta. And
okay, thank you so much.
Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. End the meeting. End the meeting.